Journal entry for March. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting the date. Maybe being sick is messing with my memory. I also get more emotional when I'm sick. I'm normally pretty stoic, and when I'm sick, I actually get more emotional. It's just weird. But anyways, it's Sunday. I was invited to a different church. I would say the Salvation Army. I was invited to the Salvation Army. But this church I was invited to by a woman because I attended. They have free meals on Sunday evening where they come in, volunteers come in and they cook meals and they serve it. And it's mainly homeless that attend. It's homeless and it's me. There's some people in their cars. There's some people that sleep under the bridge. There's me. I have a house. My house is ruined. My house has no heat. My house has no air conditioning, and my plumbing is messed up. So God has basically reserved this home for my dogs, because the difference between living in a house without plumbing and heat and being homeless is that I've got a big dog yard. I've got a place to store my inventory. So bless that. But actually, a lot of the house, like there's areas with mice, there's areas with mold. Like there's only one room that I'm using at this point because the upstairs would be okay to use, but it's colder and it's hotter up there. And there were sticky vinyl tiles with wood floor underneath. I peeled them up, and then the floor is sticky when you step on it, so I can't have the dogs up there. Plus, fake charity groups came. Actually, they were real charity groups, but there was narcissists there, sabotage things, and then they just got stuff dirty. So I'm stuck here. God knows. If they get toilet on something, that's it. I'm not touching it. It's gone. It's like it doesn't even exist as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, that is the state of my life. I'm waiting for my restoration. Everyone and everything has let me down, has betrayed me, or just outright broken and wrecked my life. So this was all allowed by the Lord. And here we have what was covered in the church service. This was good. But actually, there was a Bible study before. So there's a Bible study at 10 and the service is at 11. Well, I wasn't feeling good. I'm still sick. So I thought, maybe I'll just stay in bed today. I kind of thought about it, but I knew I was supposed to go. But then I thought, well, maybe I can miss the Bible study and just go to the church service. But then, my dog kept getting up and waking me up. She ruined my sleep, and that's actually why I would have had enough sleep, but she kept waking me up, getting out of the covers, wanted to get into the covers, like I don't know how many times. It really messed up my sleep. And because of this, I considered staying in bed longer. But then my stomach was real upset. My stomach was like churning. I hadn't been to the doctor in like 17 years. It's been a very long time since I've had antibiotics. A very long time. And so I guess they say the 1 in 5 gets stomach trouble when they take antibiotics. Well, surprise, surprise, I woke up and my stomach is my stomach is not feeling good at all. And then I can't really, my toilet's not flushing right here. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm going to bike to the hospital. But I really didn't want to get up yet. But anyways, I had enough time to make it to the Bible study, but then I biked to the hospital to use their nice walk-in bathroom. It's only a couple blocks away. This is actually the closest place to use a toilet, honestly. And I'm not trying to be rude. I would rather just use my own. But also the toilet paper that was given to me by the soup kitchen is the worst toilet paper in the world. This I'm going to go ahead and review. It's Scott's 1000 Super Roll. It's supposed to be 1000 it's supposed to be 1,000 pieces, and it's not much bigger than a regular roll. Well, these are 1 ply, and they're tissue thin. If you try to use them, they rip up into little shreds and fall all over the place. This is horrible. This is not usable at all. I don't know how you could even use this. You can't even wipe with this toilet paper. It falls apart. Like a tissue would work fine. But this toilet paper is a scam. I think it's Scott's 1000 ply tissue. This is horrible. I mean, maybe you could fold it over 2 or 3 times and blow your nose on it. But now it's already dirty. So once it's in the bathroom, it's not coming back out. Okay, um, that's trash. So I had to go to the hospital to use their bathroom. And my stomach was very upset. So then I head to the Bible study, and by the time I get there, I'm a half hour late. And I told her, I asked if I could have a water, take my medicine. I brought my banana with me. I didn't want to be any later. So I brought a banana there, and they gave me a water, and I took my antibiotics with the banana because they said to take it with food. So I actually have 2 antibiotics, not just one. I'm taking 2 at the same time. And I have not taken any medication in a very long time. As I said, the last time that, well, actually, I did see a foot doctor. They didn't do anything else other than pull out my toenail. So I don't think that really counts because they did put a local anesthetic, but that's not really a regular doctor. They just pulled out a toenail. Anyways, that wasn't too long ago. There was like a month when I had health insurance, so I took, but that's still messed up. Anyways, and I told, oh, my stomach's kind of upset. So anyways, then I listened to Bible study. I missed most of it, and then it's a group of mainly women and 1 man, and they're mainly sitting at one table. There's an older woman this time, and I could tell she was very wise. I missed most of the questions, but they were at like the last question they were discussing, and how can you tell if somebody's been with God or spent a lot of time with God? And they said they glow. They glow, and I have the glow. I have the glow. So it was like I showed up just in time to hear this. That's what that means. So maybe in my dreams, I'm spending time with God. But I think other people notice it. Not everyone, but some people notice it. A lot of people don't like me because of it. And they usually invite me things and try to get me because of it. I don't know. But I have met a young man who had a glow. And I was like, I stood there and I like stared at him for a minute. But anyways, I missed most of the questions, but I caught that one. And I think that's what God wanted me to hear. And I was not trying to be rude. This woman has offered me a ride before. And, I already got there and I'm on the bike. So then it wouldn't work because then I'd need to bring the bike back. So, but after this, we went into the chapel area to do the regular service. And that's where they give us this little booklet here. They covered some good information about Jesus riding on a donkey. So if the chosen ones today are homeless or biking, they're on bicycles, I'm on a bicycle, or we're homeless, I have a home. And the reason I have a home is because I would not leave my dogs. I needed my dogs. I couldn't live out in the park with my 3 dogs, my St. Bernard, my Shar Pei, and my hunting dog. There's no way. I just couldn't. They're too much. They're too hard to handle. They all behave differently. One is strong. One is fast and crazy. One's afraid. They all pull in different ways. And this is like 250 pounds of dogs. So, and the one dog is very cold. So I have to have a place to put blankets. When you just stay outside without a roof over your head, people steal your blankets. This could result in the death of my little dog. So this is unacceptable. I couldn't, and plus people follow me around and they poison me and they break my stuff. So my dogs would be harmed if they weren't in this property. The Lord protects this property. This property has a symbol on it like a fortress tower. So it is protected, and then I'm not even home most of the time, so it's protected for my dog. So anyways, this, I'm going to go ahead and read if I wrote something down today. How can you tell if someone spends time with God? They glow. So, and there was another woman like leading this group, and she said, and she was basically saying what people need is just to sit down and listen to them, not to speak, but to listen to them and hear. And this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been trying to do. So I think I'm glad to hear this because this is another confirmation. Because I go places and I'm like, what am I supposed to? Am I supposed to say something? Am I not supposed to say something? And then I don't know what to say, and I think everything I say will be scrutinized or it won't be received. So. But I sit and I listen and I remember. And like there was another man who passed away that was in this town when I moved here. And he would sit and listen and ask questions and remember things about people. And it was so rare. Like So I've been doing, and he taught me that, I guess. So that was a confirmation. It's not about my story. It's about listening to other people. Um, let's see here. That Zechariah 9:9. So they said, I think verse Zechariah 9:9, unless I wrote it down wrong, is Jesus comes lowly riding on a donkey. This was a prophecy. And Jesus is also called a prophet in Matthew 21, 1 through 11. There is a little testimony someone gave where they used to be homeless a few years ago. And they lost their car, it was repossessed, and then now they had a vehicle that needed repaired, and they ended up being owed like more than $2,000. And then they finally got it, and that paid for the repairs. So it was something to do with their past where they were owed money, and then it came in time to fix their vehicle now. So that's good, because maybe if they had that money back then, it would have been used on something else, and they wouldn't have had the money to fix the vehicle. So that was just a little testimony. There was a woman there who plays an instrument. I actually asked her about the instrument, if anyone played instruments, and she was excited to share. She played it today. My stomach was starting to bother me in this church service. I'm like, oh no. And I'm really like trying to sit through this whole thing, but my stomach is really upset now. This is God. God did this. This is another humiliation. It's a humiliation, but it was also necessary and part of a mission. So, anyway, she goes up to the podium. She wanted to read a story and then play the instrument, but she couldn't find the story. And this might have been an attack from the enemy, because I really had to go to the bathroom. My stomach is like really upset. I'm like, oh no. And I was still kind of okay then, but it's like she spent like 5 minutes trying to find this, and then I prayed away the spirit of delay. I prayed away the spirit of delay. Then other people, like a kid, brought up their cell phone and like, is this it? Do I have it? And then other people started looking for it. And then she decided to play the song first on, and then find the story. And so things started going. So this worked, because it was like 1 second after I prayed away the spirit of delay that people were like, is this it? Is this it? And then she's like, I bet as soon as I sit down, I'll find it. And then like a minute later, actually a few seconds after she sat down, she found it. But then they had another song ready to go. So then she came up and read the story after the song. So I'm not saying that she's evil, but spirits operate through people. And it was just making the service take longer, and my stomach was so upset. So the service went past the time it was supposed to be let out. And anyways, let's see here. Oh, there was a place, there's a dog charity there, and they said somebody just dropped 22 dogs off, like, next to the place, but apparently they were loose, and one got hit by a car or something and was killed. So they said, there's the number 22. But this is when they were asking what to pray for. Somebody just dropped the dogs off, like, they didn't hand them over or put them on leashes or anything, apparently, so this was not good. But most of them seemed to be doing okay, and they were like little puppies. So, and they said that it was next to a road that had the number 17 in it. This was my confirmation. I was supposed to go here. There's a 22 and a 17. They're also going to be shutting down the building to do some renovations soon. It'll probably be a couple weeks. But the pastor who I believe is a gay man. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say he's got the tendencies. But he gave a powerful sermon. I liked his sermon the last time, and the end of this sermon, it felt like it was inspired by the Holy Spirit. It really did. And it was a good message, and it was about giving Jesus what you have. And like this one person gave a donkey to Jesus, and it fulfilled a prophecy, and all these people like retell the story thousands of years later. And it wasn't doing anything big. It was just giving a donkey that was not that expensive. It wasn't like a cow and it wasn't like a horse. It was an inexpensive, lowly animal. But that was what was needed. So give Jesus what was needed, because what Jesus did next is giving up his life. So it's not an exchange for our life like a payment. It's not like that. But he suffered because he wanted to reach people and save them. But that is not a blood sacrifice. There's a bit of confusion there. Is that he could have went off and enjoyed his life and was tempted by the devil. You can have this kingdom. You could be a king here. You can have all this money. You can have all this fame. He turned it down. This is what this means. He did not sell out. He turned it all down. He was walking around, taking donkeys, being persecuted, being persecuted, hated. People were jealous of him, treating him bad. So this is what they mean by he gave up his life. And when it was time for Jesus to die, it wasn't the enemy that killed him. It was God took him out of the body. And I also believe 100% is that God saved him from feeling the physical pain of the crucifixion. And there are other examples in the Bible of people like were not consumed by the fire. If Jesus was there, an angel was there. They were not burnt. They were not eaten by lions. And so Jesus, being without sin, would not have been killed, where maybe other prophets were killed. He was not killed because he was without sin. And the wages of sin are death. So God took him and God sent him back. We also have Enoch, who was taken to heaven without actually physically dying. So I 100% believe that God took Jesus, and that doesn't mean that he didn't walk through this. That physical body didn't go through and wasn't tortured, whipped, and lashed and hung up on a cross. But what I believe is that God took Jesus and did not let him feel that pain. Even if he went through it, he would not have felt that pain. And then God returned him. Just like if Abraham was told or tricked by a demon to sacrifice his son, that he waited his whole life for this child. This is what he truly wanted. And then he thought God was telling him to kill his son that he loved so much. He was going to do it anyways. Well, God didn't stop it. This is what the enemy said. And he was tested to see, would he really do it? But then right before it happened, okay, was it a goat in the bush that appeared? And he and his son sacrificed the animal. Just like if Jesus was crying blood, so concerned about this, but then God would have saved him. And the only people that would not like this are the people that believe in blood sacrifice. But Jesus says is that we show our love for him. We show our love for the Lord by obedience to God's law. So if you're not visiting the sick or helping the needy, and it doesn't have to be money, because I'm not sure Jesus even gave money to people. I don't know. But he listened to them and he cared about them. If you're not doing those things, then you don't love God. It's how you behave. You will behave in the way, you will behave based on what you believe. Do you believe in God? You will behave morally and upright. But if you don't believe in God, it will be selfish and vain. Anyways, so my stomach was bothering me. And so, like, they were right at the end of the sermon. It already ran over. And so they just started to go into a song. And this song was also about blood sacrifice, too. So then I ran to the, I took $1. I tossed it in the thing. I ran to the bathroom. It was already past time for the service to be over. And my stomach was upset. I tried not to take too long. I mean, maybe it was only 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know. But the service was already late. And I was really not feeling good. And then as soon as the service was over, then like the pastor, like yells into the bathroom, not to be mean or anything. It was like, is anyone in here? I'm like, yeah, I'm in here. Like, he didn't come in. He was asking, is anyone in here? Because they want to leave. But, like, I just got in there. I just got in there, like, a couple minutes ago. And my stomach is really upset. Like, I puked, like, the day before. And then, like, my stomach is upset. Like, not doing good. And then I'm trying to hurry, but it's still taking a while. And like maybe 10 minutes later, I'm like trying to wash my hands. Then there's no soap. There's no soap. Oh my God. Okay, I am not leaving without washing my hands. I kind of walk towards the kitchen area to see, is there soap in here? Because I'm trying not to bother him and get out of there quickly. I don't see any soap. So like, then I purchased, the woman sees me, she's like, what do you need? I said, there's no soap. There's no soap. So I don't care what kind. She gets me a soap, then I go in and wash my hands twice, because that's what I do. I very much care about cleanliness. And then I could tell she's concerned. She's trying to be polite, but she's concerned. Now, this is probably 20 minutes after the time the church is let out. And they have all these children that they have driven to the church, and they're going to drive back. And then the kids are like, when I come out, the kids are like, the lady's out of the bathroom now. And they're like, oh, it's like 20 minutes. Well, the service was 10 minutes late, so that wasn't all me. Anyways, then I washed my hands, like, do you need something else? And I asked if I brought my water jug that I gave the dogs water in, because my plumbing was frozen. I asked, would I be able to get this filled up before I go? When I came in, and she said yes. But then I had to go to the bathroom. I did not anticipate this. This was the Lord humiliating me again, but also being used for God's purposes. So they were late, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I was feeling sick, like on both ends. I'm feeling sick. God did this, by the way. And she was trying to be nice. She really was, but she was still upset. I'm like, oh great, because she seemed like she really liked me at first, and now now I don't know. I said, this never happens. This really never happens. Because I just used the bathroom right before the Bible study. And then the kids are like, oh, we're like 20 minutes late. I was like, I'm sorry, it's my fault. It's my fault I was sick. I tell them as we're going. But then I kind of noticed, like, okay, so she did offer me a ride, but here's a bunch of children. Like, all these children, and got this big van. And they're taking these children, and they mentioned something about the YMCA. And I'm like, are they taking these children somewhere? And this is just my thought. This is just my thought. Not even that anything is being done to the children, but I noticed that maybe the wife was a little grumpy and unhappy, and I thought the husband was gay. And now if they're escorting children, nobody does anything for free. Nobody picks up the children and drives them for free. And nobody cooks the food every weekend for free. So now, I think something else is going on. Now, this is just my opinion. I have no physical evidence, but this is just my opinion. And my opinion is that possibly there could be an attraction to children. That doesn't mean anything is being done to the children, but maybe just being with the children is something to think about later. And so, and this pastor was very nice, and I thought he was very nice to everybody, maybe too nice. So I'm not trying to bash anything, but then I get suspicious, because they were trying to leave right away and take these children. And when they mentioned the why, I'm like, oh, maybe they're not taking the children back. Many of these same children were coming for the Sunday feeding. So I think they were going with them to their house, or to maybe some other place in between the free dinner and the church service. They might have been taking them somewhere. And the children were happy. The children were happy. The children looked like they were taken care of. I'm not saying any of that. It didn't look like, I did not see any physical abuse. The children looked happy. They were having fun. So that's not what I am saying. I just had a thought that maybe the pastor is attracted to these children and likes them to be around. And maybe isn't doing anything to them, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's just thinking about them. I don't know. This is just a thought in my mind. This is a thought in my mind. So then I come back for the Sunday dinner, and they're not really saying hello to me or anything. They're not being rude, but they're not saying hello or anything. I think they know they're caught. They think maybe I noticed something. Um, so during the prayer, before we eat, something was mentioned that was personal to me that would have been intended to hurt my feelings. This is something the enemies say to out themselves. So this was something said by the pastor before the meal was served. I'm not going to get into that now. Everyone that finds out just uses this as ammunition to hurt me. But anyways, so then I thought this is suspicious, and then there was two things of food. So there was noodles, and one was chicken, and these are big giant crock pots. One was chicken, one was sausage. So they had already received the message that we're not allowed to eat pork. So they had one with chicken, and they had one with pork. And I would notice a lot of people go through, a lot of people choose the pork. But this is just probably another sign, is because God's remnant, God's true believers at the end times, should not be eating pork. And I also have a confirmation about this, is a man who I thought was like me. I thought he was like me. But he was actually a member of a coven. And I thought he wasn't eating pork. And I said, there's not very many of the remnant left. Because I thought he was getting chicken too. But then he also got pork. And then he's like, oh yeah, I wasn't going to. But oh no. And then God confirmed to me through this that the remnant don't eat pork. And I thought, this man, finally, here's someone else like me. But he was eating pork. And I found out later, he's a member. I found out that day later. I found out shortly after that he was actually with the coven. But I never said anything. And he actually seems like a good man. He actually seems like a good man, and he seems like he's kind of fed up with the coven, honestly. So maybe he'll leave them. I'm going to say, like, I see good in him. I see good in some of these people. And, like, they get peer pressured as teenagers, and then they just keep going with it. You can't sell your soul forever. You can leave. But you will be attacked. And so the enemy is attacking me, they will attack you. They will attack their own people. If their own people try to leave, they're going to be seriously attacked. And so that probably scares them into staying with the coven. But God ultimately will save their lives and protect them. But they will have to suffer, just like the saints suffer. Anyways. So while I was there, there's a man who is often at the soup kitchen, and last time I was there, I thought maybe he was a little slow mentally. Last time I was there, he's like, I'm built like a rock. Like, I don't know if he was trying to hit on me or if he was trying to intimidate me. And I said, oh, that's good. And I looked away. Well, this man was there, and he made this devil's horn symbol, and then he said some celebrity was possessed with demons. I thought that was funny. But he said, is this the demon sign? Or so anyways, he did that. There was a teenager there. I saw her pick her nose. I guess I'm a germaphobe, because if I go to the bathroom, I wash my hands. And I will wash my hands twice. And I don't want to pick my nose without washing my hands. So I guess I'm a germaphobe, because I see all types of people just go to the bathroom, even go number 2, not wash their hands, don't even rinse, and they just leave the bathroom. I guess that makes me a germaphobe. There was a little attack because I took my antibiotics to the church because you're supposed to take it with food. So as I got my pill out, I sat it on my plate on a spot that didn't have the rest of the food. And then as I go to pick it up to take it, then the kids at the table next to me get up and they keep bumping the table, and then it runs into the gooey pasta. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I didn't say mean or anything. But I thought that was an attack, because right as the pill was I could have picked it up, but then I had to get food on my fingers, and it would have started dissolving. No big deal, though. I just wiped my hands off. It was fine. This was their attack on me. is I put my pill on my plate, on a part of my plate with nothing on it, and then kids bumped into the table and then it bumped into the food. Oh wow, I'm gonna go cry. Let me go cry now. um, it's not that the kids are evil. It's that they're spirits and they influence and they pull strings. They do things. So I'm not saying kids are evil. I'm saying is there are spirits involved and there are operating witches and warlocks in the building and they can influence people. Even if a child has greed or if they would steal or something, they can be influenced in some way that they don't even know. Like they got up to get food. They don't know that the point of that was to bump the table and so that my pill would get food on it. But this is such a minor thing that it really was not a big deal at all. It really hardly caused any inconvenience. But that's all they can do. I guess they got me really sick. But God is using this as part of a mission. Now I'm gonna have my own doctor. I was signed up for a really cheap healthcare plan at this place in my town. It's only $5 to walk in and see the doctor. This lasts for a year. So now I have this, and I'm going to have a primary care physician. I got the antibiotics. So actually, if I had something else in my system from being with a narcissist and from being poisoned over the last several months, then it's going to knock that out. It's going to take care of that too. And if my health wasn't this bad, I would not have went to the doctor. I would have stayed at home. So I think it's doing many things. If I have some infection or something somewhere I don't know about, because I feel well enough, my nose keeps running, but it's not too bad. Well, I wasn't going to get it treated. But now that I felt as worse as I've ever felt in a long time, then I go and I got 2 antibiotics. So it's going to kill anything. It's going to kill anything. Um, I also now could walk in to the doctor, and the meds are like $3 or $4 each. It's like $3 for medication now because they have income-based medication, and they didn't. And I told him like I sell, but I just opened a booth, but I haven't got paid yet. So they said like no income, and then it was supposed to be $5 to see the doctor, and they said, well, we want to make sure you have enough money to get your medication, so you should pay us next time. I'm like, yeah, actually I should, because I didn't know how much the medication would be. When I got baptized, they gave me some money, and I still had some of that left. And then a man, when I went to the food pantry, gave me a $20 bill and told me to get medicine. So I still had some cash, but I didn't know how much the medicine was going to be. So I said, yeah, I don't know how much it's going to be, so I probably should wait till next time to pay the $5. Because if I was short, I wouldn't have been able to get my prescriptions. So to get 4 prescriptions and to see the doctors and to get these tests run was maybe $22. This is what happened. And so I'm going to go back in a month and then just have a general like checkup and everything. So it was really helpful. I tested negative for strep, negative for COVID. I don't know. Maybe the narcissist just drugged me with like 100 different lower level things. I don't know. Or like 100 colds or 100 flus. I don't know. Because I felt so bad and I actually threw up and my stomach's upset. And I actually had a fever, but I felt so bad that I didn't care about the fever. Like I hardly noticed it. Anyways, so God is also using this, I think, to judge people if they would help me, give me a tissue. Like my nose has been running for months. If I go to some place they don't want to give me a tissue, God judges them. If they give me tissues generously, God judges them. And this is a good judgment. Like they will be blessed. Judgment can be being blessed by God. So I tell people this, not right away, but it doesn't change what they do. If they don't like me, they're still going to try to get me. Also, when I was in there, people sat at a table right next to me and mentioned an address. So then I remembered it. And then I biked past that on my way home, but maybe I stayed a little late and they weren't there anymore. Maybe they were seeing if I was going to go to that location because I biked past where they said. And I know when they sit at the table right next to me and then they say, oh, at this street and this street, at that parking lot, real loud. It's a message for me. But I stayed and drank coffee for like 20 minutes before I left. So, and it was cold outside. So they probably already left. But yeah, I did stop by. So if they had something planned, it didn't work. But they probably, I bet, they stood outside for 20 minutes in the cold. But I think I saw a spotter or somebody in a car seeing, they watched me. They watched me anyways to see where I'm going. Um, and then I also take a look. I took a look at the license plate on the church van, and it ended in a 77. Oh my God. And let me add this up. And if I add all the numbers on the license plate up, it's my birth year. But you gotta flip it. So if I add up all the numbers on the license plate and I flip it, that's the year I was born. So pretty cool. Like, this is God shows me. Sometimes I will see the year I was born, that number on things. Sometimes I'll see 17s. Sometimes I'll see 22s. And sometimes there's 77s. There's just more numbers, more synchronicities and signs than would just randomly occur. So I don't know. I thought these were good people, but I could tell there was problems in the marriage, and it's like they get along good, but you know, I would pray and hope that God can heal them because they said that God brought them. They had like a house and a bunch of cars and like a hot tub and everything, and they said, "Oh, and God called us to come here and leave." So now, and I thought, "Oh, maybe because they're really for God. Maybe they really are good people. Maybe they're disciples. Maybe they're members of Jesus' end time army." And I really thought this, and I asked, "What do you?" And I don't know if I asked how you know that. I tried to, but I don't know how they were told they had to leave. And they moved like 4 hours away. And now what I've seen is maybe it has something to do with children. Maybe it does. Or maybe I'm nuts. But why would God send me here? And they seem like they were very kind and very generous. Very kind and very generous. But these parents, it's like they don't want to have to watch their own children. They send their children to the church to be watched. Well, maybe that is a dangerous place to send your children, and we need stay-at-home moms again. Is this because the mothers are at work, or they're working all week, and then they got Saturday and Sunday to themselves, and so they want to go out or they want to take a nap? So they send their children to a daycare or to a church, and who knows what's happening there. With the amount of narcissists and demons and devils everywhere, we need stay-at-home moms, and this is worth just as much as a career. This is worth just as much as a job. I can't leave a drink on a table unattended for 1 minute, or someone will poison it. What do you think if I had a child? Do you think I could send him to a daycare? And what about you? What about your children? So, and I did mention this before, I don't like how during the service, the second half, they send the children to a separate area. And this is something I notice at many churches. They send the children into like a playroom, and like the pastor's wife or somebody will watch them. And I know that this pastor's wife was evil. She was a devil. She was a Pharisee. Who knows what is being done to these children? Why would you send them away? You can't trust anyone. And if they want to separate you from your children, that alone is suspicious. Okay, so I'm only saying this is what I think could be going on, and I don't have clear evidence. The children seemed happy. They were having fun. They were being taken fun places, and given food and given treats, and they had games to play. So they were happy. But that doesn't mean it's a safe place for children. Many times they will be happy and not know that something's going on. But maybe none of this is significant. But why would God have me start going to this church now? There's always more. There, it's not for no reason. Like, there was a church where I thought the pastor was a good man, and I did go for a while during the holiday services. They were celebrating Jesus' birthday, and I had to go to all that, and I wore the red and green, and I passed out the cinnamon rolls, even though I don't celebrate Christmas. I went there, but then I stopped going after. They said I stopped going because there wasn't enough problems. They were actually, like, the pastor was actually teaching the right thing. But if he knows there are covens operating in his church, I don't know. Then that, but he seems like a good man, and he seems like he cares. So I assume he doesn't know. But there are so many churches, and so far I haven't seen one where the pastor wasn't evil or wasn't compromised. Actually, I went to the black church that's very close to where I live. And this was a great church. But maybe they're just pulling my leg. Maybe they were tricking me too. Because they invited me to the skating thing that would have been on Sabbath. And so did the narcissist and the coven. I think they invited me to the same skating event. So I think they had a plan to take me out during this event. I don't know. So I will have to go back. I thought this was a good church and it was a good message. But if they had a good service and they were very nice to me, but then they planned to invite me to some skating event where they would try to murder me, I don't know. Only reason I think this is because the coven tried to invite me to a skating thing. So maybe it was a different day. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe they were a good church because they might be. They might be. Most of them are not. So the Nazarene church seems like a good church, but they let the devils run their church. They let devils run their groups, fix things there. They basically are doing a lot of things at the church and using witchcraft against people that come in. So they're allowed to do this, and I just don't know. I thought maybe the pastor wasn't aware. Maybe he is. And then this black church I went to, it was a powerful message. It was a true message. They were very welcoming and polite. They were mad I didn't show up the next week. But God sends me to all different churches on mission. It's on assignment. I don't belong to any church. So I will go back. But if there's something going on with children now, and I'm called to go to a different church right now, there could be. I don't know. But it also seemed like maybe the women were second-class citizens. They mentioned something to where, like, they had a women's retreat and they had a men's retreat, and the men got steak and they will always give the women chicken. And so I kind of think maybe they're treating the women more like second-class citizens, but it's not that much. So I don't know. If that's the case, then I need to show up, and I need to be there to let them know we are spiritually equal. And these other teachings are not from God, they're from the devil. Women are spiritually equal to men, but we're supposed to be mothers. They're supposed to be providers. We are spiritually equal. We have different roles, but we are both prophets. Men are prophets, women are prophets. We both genders serve the Lord. It is our earthly duties that differ. So God has me going to this church for now. And it seems like the people that invited me and some of the other people there, they still maybe don't like me too much. But I notice, like, if there's someone good and they get around other people, they get influenced by them. So it could be that going on as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why God has me here. But if it has something to do with children, then I need to be here now. Thanks for watching.